Hi, my name's Leo. My pronouns are they, he.
Hi, I'm Kay. My pronouns are they, them.
Hi, my name is Billie and I use they, them pronouns.
Welcome to the Non-Trinary Podcast. This week we're talking about our favourite LGBTQ plus books.
Right, so my first book that I'd love to talk about is How to Be You by Jeffrey Marsh. And it's upfront, it's not a storybook, it's just a self-help book, but the author is a non-binary person.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are they the person that did the vines?
Yeah.
Yes.
They do lots of really lovely positive videos on Twitter. They are
Yes, I follow them.
excellent. They're just they're really sweet and they have a lot to teach, and just the book is actually interactive and it's but okay, so here's the thing. I actually got this book secondhand, and there are lots of little chapters in here about fill in how you feel about this part of yourself, and it's already filled in.
Oh, I
I
love
love
that.
it. It's amazing.
I love it.
The first one is name 3 ways that you're a little bit mean to yourself. And they've listed their 3, and it's really interesting to get to know this person via this.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's wonderful. But yeah, this book is just. I haven't gotten very well. No, I've gotten about 3/4 of the way through, and it just really helped, open up a bit of a worldview. You know, it's just it's delightful. I'd really recommend it.
Okay, so my first one is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. It is a tragicomic, so it's kind of like it tells a story. It's very autobiographical from Alison's point of view, and it is a comic book. It was published in 2006. The first time I read it, I literally cried. It was fucking amazing. The themes that it talks about, it's quite heavy, hence tragicomic. So it talks about her relationship with her father, who is a closeted gay man. And it talks about their dysfunctional family life, talks about her exploring her relationship with kind of gender roles and becoming a butch lesbian and kind of all that. And it kind of ends, well, it doesn't really end because it's not a linear book, but it all surrounds her father committing suicide. And it's kind of her going on this relationship to find out, going on this story to find out her relationship with her father, to try and explore more about herself. It is it's quite hard, it's quite dark, but it is really quite the things that she says, the words that she talks about. I mean, someone who was who kind of grew up doing that themselves, going through that am I a lesbian, all that kind of exploration, it does speak out a lot to me. And that was kind of it. Read it at a point in my life where I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then it got turned into a musical in 2013, and it was amazing. The Fun Home musical is, oh holy shit, it's fantastic. The soundtrack I think is on Spotify. The songs are amazing. I mean, how they tell the musical is that they split it into 3 basically. So you've got small Alison, you've got medium Alison, and then you've got big Alison, who's kind of she's the narrator. She kind of guides you through this story of learning about her when she was younger, and then learning about her when she was at college. It's beautiful. The music is stunning as well. And the musical doesn't censor it in any way. It kind of explores the relationships that are explored in the book as well. So it doesn't take out anything from the story. It doesn't really censor it, but it pulls. There are moments there's, I think you may have heard of it, the song Ring of Keys. It's what younger Alison sings, but it's never kind of pulled up in the book, but there's a panel, and you look in the book, and the panel of this butch lesbian who has this ring of keys, and the writers, they pulled it apart and they wrote this beautiful song just on this one panel, and you're like, oh my god, you've written an entire song that has been performed at the Tonys, it's been performed at the Olivier's. It's phenomenal, and they got it from one drawing. But yeah, I highly recommend that. It is, again, it's quite dark. There are happy moments, there are sad moments. It's quite a heavy book, but if you are in a relationship, like if you are in a point in your life where you can like consume that media, I definitely would recommend it. It is a phenomenal book.
Check that out.
Sounds beautiful. Also,
Yeah.
I will say, Big Allison sounds like a fucking excellent roller derby name.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay. So one of my books, I'm signed up to a book subscription box called Queer Book Box. My partner bought me the subscription for Christmas, so it basically means that we get a LGBTQ plus book sent to us every month, for like £10 a month. So it's great. Yeah, it's amazing. So if you haven't subscribed to it, I definitely think you should. It's only available in the UK at the moment, but they are working on getting it done internationally. But the book that I have here is called Symptoms of Being Human. And I'm going to read the synopsis first because it explains it in better depth than I can, to be honest. So it says, the first thing you're going to want to know about me is, am I a boy or am I a girl? Riley Kavanagh is many things: punk rock, snarky, rebellious, and gender fluid. Some days Riley identifies as a boy and others as a girl. But Riley isn't exactly out yet, and between starting a new school and having a congressman father running for re-election, the pressure, media and otherwise, is building up in Riley's so-called normal life. On the advice of a therapist, Riley starts an anonymous blog to vent those pent-up feelings and tell the truth of what it's really like to be a gender-fluid teen. But just as Riley's starting to settle in at school, even developing feelings for a mysterious outcast, the blog goes viral and an unnamed commenter threatens to expose Riley's real identity. And Riley must make a choice: walk away from the blog has created, a lifeline new friends are caused to believe in, or stand up, come out and risk everything.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
Definitely reading that. Holy shit.
Yeah. And on the front cover it just says, boy or girl? Yes. ...
Nice.
So I received this book through the Queer Book Box. It's great how diverse the books that we've received are. And it was really great to have a book that has a gender fluid main character. So, trigger warning, there is violence, rape, and other things in the book. So if you don't want to read about those things, then this book is probably not for you. If you can deal with those sorts of themes, then this book is great. Just having a gender fluid character as the main focus point as well. But you fall in love with the character, especially if you're non-binary or gender non-conforming, etc. You relate to the character so much, and just their journey through school, high school, you can really relate to that. Definitely, I think. So just them trying to combat school life and transphobia, making new friends, and a love life as well. So yeah, it's a really great book, and it's just, like I said, it's really nice to see a main character who's gender fluid, and it has a happy ending, which is even greater.
Oh,
That's so cool.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds delightful.
I know.
For some reason, the description of punk rock and stuff, whenever I vision someone, I am imagining Freya for some reason.
Yes.
If they ever did a film adaptation of this or a series,
Yes.
I think Freya would be
Yes.
the person.
We should get on that shit. Holy God.
Oh, I cannot act for a penny, but God, incredible.
Yeah.
Right. Well, are you ready to hear my second book recommendation? Is the question.
Go on.
Okay, so My second book, following on Kay's kind of tangent tale, is another comic called Bingo Love.
Ooh.
And it is written by T. Franklin, a queer disabled Black writer. And she is incredible, fucking excellent. The art, fucking show-stopping. The storyline, oh my god, amazing. Okay, so the synopsis is when Hazel Johnson and, I'm going to say Mari, like Mari, Mari McRae met at church bingo in 1963, it was love at first sight. Forced apart by their family and society, Hazel and Marie both married young men and had families. Decades later, now in their mid-60s, Hazel and Marie reunite again at a church bingo hall. Realizing their love for each other is still alive, what these grandmothers do next takes absolute strength and courage.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay.
I know, it is so fucking good.
Okay, I need to listen to this or read it.
Yeah, holy shit.
It is, on this site, is listed as $9.99, like $9.99. And God, it was great. When I read it, like when I first completed it or got to like the part where it was open love between two women, I just had to like put it down and put it on my chest and like hug it for like a minute.
Oh.
God, it was so good. The art and the colors, particularly the colors.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I will, like, trigger warning for it. It is like family homophobia is a little bit of a theme. It does have a happy ending. Like it oh my god, it is just so fucking good. Oh, and the age ranging for it is T. So it is for teens. You are good to go, baby. But
yes.
Yes, Bingo Love by T. Franklin.
Oh, definitely. Holy shit. Oh my god. That sounds nuts.
God, it's very good. Right. Okay.
Yes, so my second recommendation is a play. It's technically it comes in a book of two plays, so you've got Joan and you've got Bullish. They're both written by Lucy J. Skilbeck, and they're created by a company called Milk Presents. I'm going to be talking about Bullish because this is the piece that I know the most. Bullish was on at the Wales Millennium Centre at the same time that Humanican was on at the Wales Millennium Centre. So I got to see Bullish and I got to see the actors perform it. It was insane. It's fantastic. So Bullish, I'll read you the synopsis. It pits ancient mythology against modern gender navigation. And you step in, it says, stepping into the ring with a gender-fierce ensemble of hopers and renegades, Bullish is a story about packing, passing, and gambling your way out of the labyrinth. So it tells the story of the labyrinth, and you've got characters from Greek mythology in there. So basically how it's done is all of the four main ensemble all play the character of Asterion. And they kind of all are either non-binary or transmasculine actors.
Yeah.
And it says that it should be performed with transmasculine actors at all times. It was first performed in 2018. And all of the ensemble, they all multi-role. So one of the ensemble will play the mother of Asterion. One of them will play another character in it. Basically, you see Asterion navigate their gender realization, and they kind of use the myth of the labyrinth to kind of explore gender identity and explore navigating the NHS, navigating all of that kind of stuff. So they meet a character called Daedalus, who is kind of this magic man. He basically helps Asterion become a man. And you kind of see as the story goes on how they navigate that, how they kind of deal with the fact that they're now a man. It's really, really like interesting, and it's done in such a good way. The writing is phenomenal, and there's songs in it as well because, of course, It's just fab.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
That sounds really good.
I love like the transmasculine specific actor bit. Like,
Yeah.
tastes good.
Milk Presents are a fantastic company, and Joan as well. Joan is I just got on a very quick tangent. Joan is the story of Joan of Arc, but it's told by what is their name? Basically they're a drag king.
Oh,
Louis
yes!
Cypher. Louis Cypher is the person who plays Joan. But it's a one-person show, and they tell you the story of Joan of Arc. Whilst they're Joan, they are themselves, but they also get up in drag halfway through the performance to tell it from like the king's point of view or the father's point of view or whatever. I'm so annoyed that I haven't been able to see it yet, but it's from what I've read, it sounds stunning.
Y'all have taste. This sounds incredible.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like the clips that you can find on YouTube, I would very quickly go and like, it's just stunning. It's amazing.
My third and final book is The Times I Knew I Was Gay by Eleanor Cruz. And this book is basically like a bit of a life story. And she's a lesbian. Okay, yes. So this book is the coming-of-age story of Eleanor Cruz, and there's a really interesting foreword in here. It didn't start off as a book, it started off as a 10-page zine.
Ooh.
And yeah, and she lives in London. So she was delivering this zine throughout London by herself on her bike. And then,
my God.
Yeah, and then she posted them to like Brighton and Glasgow and all sorts of cities, and it's just fucking juicy. Like, it starts off with her as a really young kid, like speaking up in class saying that her favorite color was black and she wanted to be a witch, and like really
my God, I love it.
Yeah, and she was like, she was really into Buffy, and like, you know, the whole relationship between, I think it was Willow and another character, but it was a gay relationship.
Willow and Tara.
Yeah, Willow and Tara. And she made a friend at the time, and her friend always told her that she was Willow in the Buffy series before coming out, and it's amazing. And it just follows her struggle between like heteronormativity. Like, it's writing about her struggles with that, and like her last date with a boy, and the whole time she was just thinking, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. Like, it's so refreshing to see someone speak so openly and honestly about their journey to becoming an openly, very indeed not into men person. And it's just fucking incredible. So yeah,
that sounds amazing.
It is delightful, and I thoroughly recommend it. Oh, one more thing about it. It's all in her own handwriting, and she does all of her own illustrations.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the pages are like, because since I have ADHD, it's really hard to maintain focus on a book.
Yeah.
And these pages, like, they have comic scenes, and the biggest chunks of writing are like half the page full. But because of that, the book is thicker than it would be, and it's just such a heavy, satisfying one. God, it's great. But yes, Times I Knew I Was Gay.
I love it.
This one is also from Queer Book Box. I think we got this one last month. So it's called When We Speak of Nothing, and it's by Ulamide Popula. If I've pronounced that wrong, I'm really sorry. So this is the synopsis. Best mates Carl and Abu are both 17 and live near King's Cross. It's 2011 and racial tensions are set to explode across London. Abu is infatuated with gorgeous classmate Nalini, but dares not speak to her. Meanwhile, Carl is the target of the local wannabe thugs just for being different. When Carl finds out his father lives in Nigeria, he travels to Port Harcourt to escape the sound and fury of London and connect with a dad he's never known. Rejected on arrival, Carl befriends Nikhil, an activist who wants to expose the ecocide in the Niger Delta to the world. Increasingly distant from happenings in London, Carl falls headlong for Nikhil's feisty cousin Genoma. Meanwhile, the murder of Mark Dugan triggers a full-scale riot in London. Abu finds himself caught up amidst leading to a tragedy that forces Carl to race back home. When We Speak of Nothing launches a powerful new talent. The stream of consciousness prose, peppered with contemporary slang, captures what it means to be young, black and queer in London and Port Harcourt. If grime music were a novel, it would be this.
Oh.
Yeah, so one of the main characters, so Abu and Carl, they're best friends, and Carl is trans. And it's just a really great book. Like, they're best friends, and it talks about, so Carl is trans and Abu is just a cis boy, and it just talks about their friendship and how, like, Abu doesn't care that Carl is trans. They just act like a normal, like, best friend duo. Just talks about racial tensions in London and Carl going off to, like, try and find his dad in Nigeria. And it's just a really different sort of book, and like something I haven't read like before. So it's really interesting to see like different representations of different cultures as well. So
Oh, that sounds fucking great.
it is.
So mine is it's another graphic kind of, well, not graphic as in graphic, but graphic as in drawing. It's kind of a graphic novel, not really a novel. I don't know how best to describe it. But it's Queer A Graphic History by Meg John Barker and Julia Scheel.
That one, yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. It basically it tells, like, I don't know how to explain it. It explains queer theory and it explores terminology. It looks at queer thought and all of that kind of jazz through drawings and through sketches, and it's so accessible. It kind of explores really kind of what we would consider traditionally very wordy and very like inaccessible theories into really accessible little sketches and panels and things like that. It looks at everything from like stories and really early Freud theories, and then into brand new other things. It looks at privilege, it looks at queer feelings, normativities, all that kind of stuff. And all of the drawings are just so diverse. Like, there are people in wheelchairs, there are so many people of colour in the drawings. The drawings are just so, like, diverse, and so you get so much character from them. And it's such an accessible way of telling queer history and queer theory. It's just amazing. I can't get enough of it. Like, I've referenced it in several essays that I've written, and loads of different things. It explains things in a way that I can understand it, and like, because some queer theory is very inaccessible. It's really like highty-tighty. It's really like, I'm going to explain this in a way that you can't understand. This kind of really breaks things down. It talks through it in a really accessible way. And yeah, it's just fucking stunning. Like, it's all in black and white, so there's no colour in it, but you can clearly tell just by the, you can just clearly tell that, like, by the style and by the just by the drawings, that there's people of colour in there. It's just fucking amazing.
My next book is called Not Just A Tomboy by Caspar J. Baldwin, a trans masculine memoir. So the synopsis says, this is the story of one trans man's exploration of gender identity set against changing cultural attitudes from the 90s to the present day. Caspar Baldwin grew up in a time when being trans was not widely accepted by society, and though progress has been made since then, trans men are still underrepresented and misunderstood. Grappling with the messy realities of gender expectations while giving a stark and moving account of his own experiences, Baldwin grants a nuanced understanding of what it's like to be a trans boy or man. With its unflinching portrayal of the vulnerability, confusion, dysphoria, empowerment, peace and joy that are all part of transitioning, This book provides an invaluable source of support for trans men and is a memoir that breaks the mold. So this book was really helpful for me in terms of like reading someone else's experiences of what it was like for me growing up. And like even though he's a trans man and I'm non-binary, because I'm non-binary trans masculine, I still relate to it a lot. So it's basically just his life story, I guess, of just him struggling to come to terms with being trans at a young age and not knowing what being trans is and being different from everyone else, and talking about gender stereotypes and everything that's sort of like that. So yeah, it's great to hear someone else's account of, you know, especially as what he writes about when he was younger, about what it was like being trans in the 90s and how difficult it was and how everyone just expected you to conform to normal gender stereotypes. So if anyone's looking for an autobiographical book, then I definitely recommend this one.
That's so cool. Definitely be checking that one out.
Right, so it is an online comic called Check Please. And it is, I think it was mainly hosted on Tumblr, but now it has its own website. And I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the author's name. I'm going to try my best, but fair warning, may butcher it. Ngozi Ukazu, I think. But their Tumblr account for it is OMG Check Please. All one word, and it is exploring the dynamics of having a gay relationship in the sports world.
Ooh.
More particularly hockey, ice hockey.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it takes a character from like the deep south, I think he's from Texas or something, and then just puts him into this really Northern American like hockey thing. And he was a figure skater before being a hockey player. So he cannot be checked or like bumped on the rink. He cannot do it. And it's just a story from his perspective of like maybe falling in love with his captain, and then like his captain moves away, and it's really interesting, and the art style evolves through the comic.
Yeah, so my fourth book is, well, it's another play. Haha, of course it is. But it is a play called And the Rest of Me Floats. It was put on by the Outbox Theatre in the Bush Theatre at London. And one of the actresses from Humanikin is in this. So Emily Jo Miller, she is amazing. And it's basically a load of genderqueer people, trans, non-binary, and queer communities weave together autobiographical performance, movement, pop songs, stand up and dress up in this anarchic celebration of gender exploration and identity. It's, I managed to catch a recording of it. It's just amazing. There's moments where there's literally a section and it's called Grid, but they literally are walking in a grid. They all copy each other's walks. They then have exaggerated version of their walks, and they kind of all tell their own stories through kind of asking questions to the audience. They have sections where they dress up as each other. They sing songs. They run around in the dark and try on loads of different costumes. It's just so queer. It's such like, this is kind of like the theatre that I need to see more of, because it was just beautiful. And it's like, do you see me? Like, do you really see me? That's kind of the question that they pose throughout it. But yeah, it's just amazing. There's so many different like stories, and like they are selling the book version. I think it's still available, I'm not too sure, but in the book version you get their stories, and they say that like if you do want to put on a similar production, then you replace it with your own stories. You can take like the format that they've made and you make it your own basically. But yeah, just the way and the sectioning and kind of the dramaturgy of it all, so kind of the way that the story's put together, it's just amazing. It's just a massive queer party at the end. And they kind of like, they invite the audience to come and dance with them at the end. It's really like beautiful and kind of an amazing kind of summary of the piece.
My last book is kind of similar to the last one. It's like an autobiographical book again, and it's by Alex Bertie, and it's called Transmission: My Quest to a Beard. He's also a YouTuber.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's great. So this is the synopsis. I guess we should start at the beginning. I was born on the 2nd of November 1995. The doctors in the hospital took one look at my genitals and slapped an F on my birth certificate. F for female, not failed, though that would actually have been kind of appropriate given present circumstances. When I was 15, I realised I was a transgender man. That makes it sound like I suddenly had some light bulb moment. In reality, coming to grips with my identity has taken a long time. Over the last 6 years, I've come up with my family and friends, changed my name, battled the healthcare system, started taking male hormones, and have had surgery on my chest. My quest to a beard is almost complete. This is my story. And it does say on the back, this is for readers 14 plus, so that age. So I've watched Alex Bertie as a YouTuber for many years. And he's just a great person. Like, he literally posted videos of his whole transition when he was on testosterone. I mean, obviously he's still on testosterone, but when he first started taking testosterone, and like filmed the whole process of that, like his voice changing and his literal quest to a beard, like all like gradually having hair, and he filmed lots of in-depth information about his top surgery, which is like obviously really helpful for trans and non-binary people who do want to take hormones or want to have top surgery. So if you like need some advice or want to watch videos, like educational videos, I would definitely recommend his channel. But this book is like, even though his channel is like really informative, this book is great. It has loads of advice, especially like binders. Like in one chapter, he tells you how to, if you can't afford a binder, it gives you like instructions of how to make a binder out of like a swimsuit. So like, yeah, so if you can't afford a binder, then he gives you like a DIY binder that you can make. There's loads of illustrations because he's a graphic illustrator as well, so like all the illustrations in it are done by him.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes, amazing.
So yeah, it's a really great book, especially if you want to read about someone else's experiences and try and gain some knowledge and insight and about what it's like to transition. So he's a great person, and I definitely recommend his YouTube channel as well.
Okay, so thank you for listening to the Non-Trinary Podcast. I've been Kay, my pronouns are they, them.
I've been Billie, and I use they, them pronouns.
I've been Leo, my pronouns are they, he.
And yeah, thank you for listening.
Go read the books.
Go read them all.
Go read every one of them.